Alright, well today we're going to be talking about Chapter 1-1, Variables and Expressions. Let me load this. Chapter 1-1, Variables and Expressions. To write algebraic expressions is our lesson objective for today. So I put that in your notes. You don't have to copy that down, but in future we will be copying the objectives down every once in a while just to make sure that you're taking notes on this. The Indiana Academic Standards today is to prepare you for A1.4.2, which is add, subtract, and multiply polynomials. So this is just a preparation type of objective here, really just reflecting on what you learned last year. Vocabulary for today, we have quantity. Okay, you're going to hear me say quantity a lot. That's a popular word that I like to use. Quantity just means anything that can be measured or counted. Okay, and a lot of times I refer to quantity in terms of things in parentheses. The second one is variable. It is a symbol that represents a value or values that are unknown and or change from situation to situation. So variables are big keys you need to know is unknown. So as you write those two down, you could pause the video and copy the rest of that down. The key I would underline unknown on that one. Problem number 1, what is an algebraic expression for the word phrase? So we have 32 more than a number n. 32 more than a number n. So put n here in this little green box. What we're saying is we want to know what this full amount is, but what we know it to be is 32 more than that. So we're starting here with n, and we're saying 32 more than that. So this value here is going to be 32. We want to know what that is there. So we want to know what that's going to be in an algebraic expression. Okay, and we're going to talk about that in a second, which is going to be more than, so we want to put it 30 n plus 32. That way we're getting more than the n. Okay, so that phrase is kind of putting it in order. The second one here, 58 less than a number n. Okay, this one's a little tricky because it's less a number n, which means things are going to change a little bit from the last one. But again, we're going to say here, this is our unknown actually. Okay, because we have 58 less a number n, which means that this quantity here is actually 58. Okay, and that's a tough phrase. I don't really like that phrase, but that's tough. But the n is being kind of taken away from that, so less. So in this case, we're going to take the full 58. That was a bad 58. Okay, and we're going to subtract less a number n. So subtract is like taking away. So 58 minus n in this case. Okay, we said Toya would come back to it, but an algebraic expression is a mathematical expression that has variables. Okay, so if it has a variable in it, it's going to be an algebraic expression. So algebra essentially is variables. A numerical expression is a mathematical expression that has only numbers. So hence, you know, numerical numbers. So it's pretty easy to remember that one. Problem number 2, what is an algebraic expression for the word phrase? Okay, so we have 8 times a number n. And so just to give you a little visualization here, put in your notes, and I put here 8 boxes. You're going to have to add in the n's, but there's 8 n's. So how else can we represent that? Well, some people say, well, we can say n plus, well, that's, I'm already getting tired of doing that. So forget doing that. What we're going to say is, how about we put 8 times n, okay, since we're using this times. Okay, so 8 times a number. And we generally always put the coefficient number in front. Okay, that'll come up in a later section as well. The second one here is the quotient of a number n and 5. So again, some of these get kind of tricky because how we phrase them. Quotient of a number, that's division. So it's not each one of these are in. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes, which means what we're doing is we're taking an n number and we're dividing it into 5 equal parts. Okay, so quotient is division, so we're taking one giant n, some quantity we don't know, that's the variable, unknown, and we're going to divide it. So quotient you can write as n divided by 5, or you can write this as n divided by 5. Okay, one or these two here. Doesn't matter which way you write it, that's how you would do it. Okay, problem number 3 here. What is an algebraic expression for the word phrase 3 more than twice a number n? Okay, 3 more than twice a number n. You have 3, which we're going to put in here, and it's more than twice a number n. So you notice I got 2 little yellow boxes here. Well, that's going to be our n's. Okay, so we got 2 of them. So just like the previous problem that we did, we had 8 n's, so we put 8 times n. So we can kind of look at that and say, alright, well, we can have this as 2n. So we got that, but what's the 3 more than? So I'm going to back up real quick. And you can go back here and see 32 more than, we put quantity plus 32. Okay, so we can do that as well in this one. Okay, you have 2n, we can say more than, so we can say, oops, going blue here, plus 3. It could be the other way as well. It doesn't really matter with addition there, and we'll talk about that more, but that's commutative, so that's okay. 9 less than a quotient 6 and a number x. So here we are in this problem B, 9 less than a quotient of 6 and a number x. So there's actually 2 parts here. It says 9 less than, so again that's got to come second. So 9 less than, that's actually going to be a subtraction here at the end. Okay, the quotient, which again is division, so quotient is division, is going to be 6 and a number x. So actually, since 6 came first, x on top, a number x, that's on the bottom. Okay, so it should go in order. We don't want to put x over 6, it's 6 over x, and then minus 9. Okay, problem C here, the product of 4 and the sum of a number x and 7. So the product of 4 and, so what this is saying is the product, which means multiplication this time, of 4. So there's the first subject, but then the and is the separation, the sum. So that means there's a quantity, which again I said I would talk about that as being like parentheses. So there's going to be a sum in here of something, and we're going to have a multiplication on the outside. And we're going to use the little dot and not the x anymore because we just use the x up here. So what's the sum? That's the question now, is what's the sum? Well, sum of number x and 7. So just like before, we're going to put the x there, and then we're going to put the 7 there. Okay, x plus 7. There's your quantity, so it's 4 times a quantity. That's the separation there. What operation are you working with? That's the question that we're going to be looking at, and then we're going to write a phrase. But up here is actually the instructions. What word phrase can you use to represent the algebraic expression 3x? So to break this down, we want to know, well, what operation are we even working with? Sometimes that becomes tricky because people want to write a word phrase, don't really know what we're talking about. So what operation, if there's nothing in between here, what is that? So give you a second to think about that. You thought right, it is multiplication. Okay, that is multiplication 3 times. Oh, that's what it is. Nothing in between is 3 times. So we'll write a word phrase. Now this is going to vary from student to student. So write a word phrase of what you would like. Typically, most go with the product, since multiplication. So product is kind of the better word to use instead of multiplying. You can use that. The product of 3 and a number x. Okay. Now you could use something else. You could have said 3 times a number x. That would work just the same. So we just looked over variables and expressions. Hopefully that was a lot of review for you as you go through. You can watch the video again, pause it, finish up your notes. Make sure you bring those in tomorrow because we're going to be checking those for taking a grade. If you need any more information, go to www.sites.google.com/site/swmathin. If you have any questions, share it on the discussion board, see if anybody else can help you out, or I'll chime in there, help you out. If you don't get anything with that, you can always go to Twitter, follow me at a math nerd, and post a question there. So we'll see you tomorrow, and we'll have a little discussion.